do not know what we are doing, I'm going to give you a short introduction on who we are. So when you go to our webpage, you see this. We say that we are delivering results, but that is a very nice thing to say, right? So no one knows what that actually means. But what we mean is that we provide you a service, a community as a service. So when you are in a network with us, we provide you the community which you're seeing here in this room. People who attend meetups, people with who you can connect, and people who share the same interests as you. We basically want to bring startups, tech-driven startups, disruptive startups, as our name suggests. Also, just enthusiastic people who are interested together and create rapid knowledge transfer, so that you, for instance, the people who do not know what blockchain is, are not informed about what blockchain is, can learn at our place some insight or get some insights at our place about what it is. We're currently operating in 11 cities in the DACH region. So if you're in Berlin or something and want to attend a meetup, you also can do that. We have 59 communities and we're growing and growing, so everyone can find something. For instance, when you're only interested in blockchain, you can go to the blockchain-related community and apply to the meetups there. If you're interested how women in tech are doing, you can also go to the community about women in technology. So we have something for everyone. Here is a little illustration to sum up what we're doing. When I was starting here at Disrupt 1.5 years ago, I think, this first number was at 30. So in 1.5 years, we have more than 300 plus speeches. That's pretty nice. And we're still growing and we're introducing many, many more interesting speakers to our meetups. So let's come to the first. So the first talk will be how can AI help us to save in cryptocurrency, by this man right here, Professor Dr. Danko Nikolic, right? Okay. Then we will have a 20-minute break. We can make that a little shorter if you're interested in continuing with the presentation. And then we will have the second talk by this man here. They will probably also introduce themselves about decentralization as an approach to better privacy, from Michael Modi. So another thing, special thanks for Frankfurt School for giving us this room and the opportunity to have a presentation here. And if you're interested, you can, in holding a speech or being a speaker yourself, hosting an event, or just being present, you can come to me and talk to me afterwards. Oh, that's me, and I will post that later as well. So let's start with the presentations. Because that's why you're here. You're not here because of me. You're here because of the speakers, right? Maybe the people who have been here before come now exclusively for me.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. I'm Danko. Let me tell you a few words about me. I have been a brain scientist for most of my career, adult life. But the reason I studied the brain was I wanted to understand the brain and steal secrets from the brain and put them into AI. And then some years ago, I thought I did manage to steal enough secrets from the brain, so I shifted my career towards AI. Right now, I am a CDO and the head of AI in a fintech startup in France. And what I want to tell you about is how we develop artificial intelligence algorithm to create a portfolio for saving in cryptocurrency. And so that's our relationship to blockchain. We are not looking inside the blockchain, we are looking relationship of blockchain-based cryptocurrencies into the pricing and what's happening on the market. Right? So I may be using a little bit of financial lingo, but I'll try to not to use and try to explain things in simpler words, if I find such. So when one is trying to build some sort of financial model of cryptocurrencies, there are some challenges. Right? The first challenge that we looked was that the world wasn't stationary, and which means that whatever you look in the history, it doesn't mean that the future will be the same, because it was completely new thing. It's still a new thing, and the world is completely constantly changing about cryptocurrency. We see them differently, regulations are different. So it's really hard to use the past really to predict well the future. And then also the classical mathematics in financial that you use, for example, one thing that people use is normal distribution, doesn't exist really in cryptocurrencies. The math works different, or you need something else than the classical financial textbook, right? Then normally in AI, what do you do when you have such a problem? You use some highly nonlinear system like deep learning, which means you need to throw at it a lot of data to learn and do things and understand what's going on without you. Just throw the data on it and it crunches the numbers, and then hopefully it figures out what to do. Well, you couldn't do that in this case either, because the data are really small. The history is short, the number of currencies that are there is small. It's actually small data. It's not really enough for anything like that, right? So you have this challenge. So what do you do? So basically, what you have to do is develop something new from scratch, some new approach. It could be new math, new algorithms, new way of looking at the problem. So I will tell you some of the things that we have encountered, some of the things that we have done. I cannot tell you all the details. I'm not allowed to tell you everything exactly how it works, but I'll tell you lots of interesting things, for sure. So basically, you're doing science. You have to explore the world and figure out the relationships and then implement those into the AI. That's basically how all the other machine learning algorithms have been invented in the first place. Someone had to dig into the data, figure out the relationship, come up with a way how to describe them, and that's how machine learning algorithms have been created. So we had to do that from scratch. Right? To do that, we looked at the market, what's happening, and we had to ask a lot of different questions. Please don't read maybe all of them. You don't have to memorize it. I will not talk about them. But I just want to make a point here that we asked a lot of questions. Right? We went to financial textbooks, look what's happening in the other financial world, and then ask questions. Is this happening also in crypto world? Or is it different? Right? And we found lots of interesting things, right? So one thing that we found that was very important is volatility of volatility. Classical financial theory does not really worry so much about it. In crypto market, it's really important. In crypto market, you have periods when the prices are jumping up and down like crazy, and then you have a few months as flat, right? So you have variability of variability. Sometimes you cannot just look at recent history and say, okay, things are stable. No, they are not, because there have been moments in the past where they've been really wide, right? Then we also discovered that so-called efficiency frontiers can have a strange shape. Now I'm getting technical. If you don't know what efficiency frontier is, it's probably not the time for me to explain. But we get such nice distributions and graphs to look at and play with. Here's one more thing that we found recently that I want to show you. What you see here above is the prices of Bitcoin for the last year. So you see here all the way on the left, you see when the prices peaked, right? Where there was a gold rush, and then the prices went down, and then again recently they went up. Now we could decompose this history by one algorithm that we invented that allowed us to sort of filter the signal for different time scales, but we had to invent a filter that works with financial time sequences. It's not a classical filter. It's a filter for financial information, right? So we could extract this type of things, and then you see here different bands. You see all the way below slow events in changing the prices, and then all the way up you see very fast changes in the prices, right? And what we saw here was quite stunning, is that very often in crypto market, when there is a large change in the price, then it follows with some sort of oscillating ripple in the price, like it goes up and boom, 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 and then something else happened, and again, if it goes up, it doesn't just stay up. Whenever it goes up, it goes pop, 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 like that. When it goes down, it's different. When the price goes down, it has very little bit of this rippling effect. It just goes down and kind of stays down. Right? And that we have also looked further back in the history. It's this phenomenon repeats. Right? It's quite interesting. That's the same stuff, just shown differently as a heat map, so one can see how well the events are aligned in time of different frequencies. Right? And they are, one can see that they are quite nicely aligned. Okay, so that was the first strategy, do the science of the problem. Right? But then it wasn't enough. You do the science, you understand things, and what you understand is that you can't do much. There's some things, but that's one of the insights. Like you don't have enough to it's not like as efficient as you can do in a classical financial markets, right? So we had also the second part of our strategy is that's when you let the universe outside do some computations for you, right? You observe the universe, how the market is responding to the events of the world, right? So what we use is market capitalization. We looked how the market capitalization of cryptocurrencies behaves over time, right? Because we see then in real time how the market responds to the events, right? And what we saw, for example, that now again I'm coming to financial lingo, that the market cap is sometimes on the efficiency frontier. So if this point here is on the border, this border is the frontier, and if it is, then it's good. Then it means that the market is efficient. It means, in a way, that whoever is deciding the prices is kind of thinking right? At least the classical financial theory thinks it like that. Right? But then, very often we find that the market capitalization is not on the frontier. So it means that the market is kind of not really behaving reasonably, right? And that's also kind of information that we are using in our AI. And we could get that in real time. We could constantly monitor the market capitalization, get this information, right? A great thing about crypto is that when you look historically, the returns have been spectacular, right? Probably nothing else, no other asset had such returns if you look long term, right? So if this is the entire history of Bitcoin prices, and it's logarithmic. And I had to plot it logarithmic because that's such a huge growth in the value, right? It started with very small prices in few dollars, I think, I don't know exactly, but ended up at 10,000 plus dollars, right? So, and what you can see here that over this period of 7, 8 years, the price went up quite a bit. I think if you invested here 1,000 euros, here this equals to 100 million or something like that, right? So it's really amazing how it was, right? How it happened. What will happen in the future, we don't know, but we are still on the same exponential curve here. If you look at this green line, they're still on there. There's no sign that it's stopping. Of course, with a price of huge volatility, huge variations, right? And that's it. The returns are volatile. So here's again logarithmic. You have to work logarithmic because the changes in prices are so huge, right? So you see that there are events of huge rises in prices, but also events of big drops, and you can often see this like vertical line that straddles from positive to the negative very often, right? It means that the price goes up and then goes down, or goes down and then goes up, right? So that's this variation that I was telling you about that we have seen in these oscillations, right? These pockets here are these oscillatory pockets here. Okay, another interesting thing that we discovered, and relevant for us, that different cryptocurrencies are positively correlated most of the time. Occasionally they become uncorrelated, and they always come back and correlate, right? So this makes it a bit difficult to create a very efficient portfolio, because the idea of of building a good portfolio is to reduce risk, and the way you reduce risk, you use assets that are not well correlated. And these are quite high correlated. And at the end, what we ended up is working with 4 cryptocurrencies. We could use more, but we have in our product 4 at this moment, like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Ethereum. And what you see here is historically how our AI has chosen to build a portfolio, right? So the thickest part is Bitcoin, which kind of makes sense probably intuitively. And then the second thickest part, the green one, is Litecoin. And what you can see is that the AI has over time thrown out the other 2, the Ethereum and the Bitcoin Cash. And actually right now, the AI tells us we should use only 2 coins and the other 2 should go out. And sometimes the AI did something weird, like this step here. So that suddenly there was some sudden change. And then we checked. So they didn't mention that the AI's, that one requirement for us was that the AI works completely autonomously. So we don't need to check it. We don't make a decision. The whole thing completely works automatic. Checks the market every day, does the calculation, makes the decisions, and purchases cryptocurrencies for our customers. We're just watching and checking. So these are moments where we really check, like, oh, what happened now? So we recalculated by hand everything, checked. Everything was fine. Then again, here something happened. We rechecked again, everything was fine. It made the right decision, given whatever happened in the market at this moment. Right? So over time, we learned to trust it, so we are checking it now less and less frequently, and just kind of, okay, makes sense, just keep going. Which is good and convenient, especially for startup. You don't have lots of people to work on, and you have lots of tasks. So it's good that this part of AI does its own job in the background. Good. Another interesting thing that we looked at is, so what would happen financially if you combine classical investment portfolios and enrich them a little bit with investing in cryptocurrencies, right? So first you can if you compare classical investment portfolios and prices of cryptocurrency, you see that they are uncorrelated. Here you see price of Bitcoin versus one big fund, relatively conservative fund, right? And you see that they are uncorrelated. When one is changing one direction, the other one is going somewhere else, and there is no regularity. And that's good. That's really good for building the portfolio. But then the question was still, can one really, what happens? Because if you add cryptocurrency to portfolio, you add huge volatility, something that's completely untypical for normal portfolio, but also you add quite a bit of return. So we looked in some examples, and we could see that in general, yes, you could actually improve your performance of a portfolio. It means that you would get better return if you combine with a little bit of crypto. But also more importantly, that your Sharpe ratio is good. And Sharpe ratio is basically telling you how much return you have get relative to the risk that you have taken, right? So a larger Sharpe ratio, this number here, means that your ratio is better, that you got more return than you increase the risk of the entire portfolio, right? And then we looked basically how much which proportion of crypto would make sense in such cases, and what we found is that basically the first 5% to 8% that you add to the entire portfolio are the best. So you just add 5 to 8% of proportion of your entire portfolio from crypto, and what happens is that's where you get the sharpest increase in return with the smallest relative increase in risk. Like, so you increase the risk a little bit, you increase the return quite a bit. After that, you get only just a little bit of gain. Okay, and I didn't do all these calculations on my own, but I have also a good team and who are working very hard on all kinds of interesting AI questions. Right? So thank you very much.
I have a question, so it's very interesting what you were presenting. You said that Bitcoin has no correlation with the traditional stock markets. I think I read somewhere that there is a correlation, but not with the price of stocks itself, but with the volatility of the market. So usually when you have a high volatility on the stock markets, then it's usually you have a drop in the price of BTC, because it's still regarded as a risky asset, and as soon as the people feel insecure, the investors, they get out of the risky assets. What do you think?
Could be. I mean, I don't know. I didn't look at this. Don't remember looking at it. It's possible. It's possible. But also the next question would be, of course, how strong the correlation.
Yes.
But
there's the question: what do you think is the correlation with gold?
We looked. Maybe last time we looked was 6-7 months ago. We didn't find any. I thought it was going to be correlated.
Yeah, because
but it wasn't. But it wasn't.
BTC is,
it's a gold. It's going to become gold.
Yeah,
it's going to become. It's like the gold in the old, all the golden rush times. Maybe. What were the prices then? I don't know. But probably, perhaps volatile as well. Yeah.
So is there any trading strategy involved with your system, or is it just like holding this portfolio that you have established?
So our system so far is not trading. We're not allowed to do that. We're not. But what we're allowed to do is just to purchase for our customers who say.
Right.
So we only allowed to purchase, not to sell. So even if we had a strong signal, which we don't, but even if we knew like tomorrow everything will go down, we are not allowed to do anything.
Why?
Right?
Why you are not allowed to?
Because in order to trade, you have to have a special license. It's legally regulated. That we don't have. We are applying for licenses, and it's a long process, and it's not easy. It's not my area. I'm a data scientist, not a legal person. But I see my colleagues they are struggling. It takes years to get such a license, and it costs lots of money. And you first have to get one license, and then you have to show to the government or governments that you are performing well, that you are good, responsible company. Then you get the next step. It takes time. Right? So maybe.
Yeah. The stock you picked, you said if you combine it with crypto, you get better returns. Was it cherry picked or is it an average stock?
The stock.
Yeah, the fund you picked.
The fund we built, it wasn't cherry picked. We basically I created the fund myself, which was basically taken from some basic indexes and some typical percentages. I can give you numbers. It's very, very conservative, very standard. Okay. It's nothing was cherry. It was one try. You look what normally conservative funds do. You take the average, make your own. It wasn't cherry picked.
So I'm trying to reflect what I understood exactly from your talk, and what you mentioned that the AI recommended it's better to have a portfolio of two currencies, which is crypto and ether. But usually in the normal investment, it's better to have a diverse portfolio, like different ones, so you can have better chances.
Yeah.
Why is this case is different? Why it's better to have two, or this is because just the historical data reflected the only two successful coins were ether and crypto?
Well, I have to clarify something. Our AI has only choice between 4. Right? We could do more, but it's basically, there's lots of coding, technical requirements for implementing it, and we have other priorities right now, but we could do more. So it had only choice between 4. But the reason it took 2 out of 4 was some properties of the other 2. I cannot tell you exactly right now, but it has to do either with volatility or volatility or the relationship between the 2. Right?
So this is the same start. So there is a room.
This is what?
At the start for this algorithm or this research, there is a room for growth that you add more, let's say, coins and then.
Yes, yeah,
So
of
just
course,
moving
yeah,
it.
yeah. We did calculations also with more coins. We just don't implement them in production. So if we add more coins, then Ripple is pretty good. It likes to add Ripple, for example. And Stellar is not. Yeah.
So actually, your system is just peer-to-peer, like B2C, or just focused on consumers, or is it also B2B?
Well, it's right now it's B2C. We are looking into B2B as well.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yes.
Well, it's coming out of the saying if you would like to invest, obviously one more financial aspects or default aspects. Who's the counterpart? Let's say if you're offering kind of savings scheme, and that probably goes into the asset management environment. So they're saying, hey, please buy this, buy that. My understanding is you're offering a kind of fund which you can buy. Or do we need to say
We are not, again, the license question. We are not offering the fund. We are not allowed to offer a fund yet. What we can offer is to another fund, we can offer a calculation, okay, for them. But another fund would have to be actually the one who is investing and who is finding the investor and running this whole process, because we are not allowed to do that.
Yeah, because that would require a fund, and there will be plenty of questions coming afterwards regarding insolvency situation with the legal counterpart, etc.
Yeah.
So you're just giving investment tips, hints, sending it.
No. We have an app that you can download. Just go to either iOS or Android. Go to savedroid crypto, download the app, and you can you can save money in crypto. You can, like, every day 2 or 3 euros or 5 euros or whatever you set, or when some event happens in the world, a few euros will be converted to crypto. That's what our app does right now, and uses this performance.
So would I have to have my own wallet?
No, we do done everything.
But then you do an asset management, right?
Yes, but only for saving. We cannot do.
Yeah, but it's the same story. Who's my legal counterpart? What happens when some kind of default happens? You're managing my assets. You're managing my money. You are investing my money.
No, we are saving your money.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, that's how it legally works. We are not investing, we are saving. If I say investing, it's going to be trouble. Legal trouble.
Okay, then you're
It's
saving my money.
You save money in crypto. That's all we do.
Is the difference there that the buying or selling decision is made by the user of that account, not by the system? Is that the difference?
Yeah, I think so. If I understand it right, I'm not really the right person to answer that. But what we do, we buy crypto for you, and you sell it whenever you want to. It's a saving. You're not saving on a wish. You set up a wish. I want to save that much money. You save when there's the right amount. Now you have the money for your whatever you want to buy, a new watch. You take the money and buy your watch. Right?
In currencies, do the users have their own wallets, or?
No, it's all taken care. Right? They just need to connect credit card. they need to have their own credit. Yeah, there are lots of questions. Maybe here.
So one question regarding your algorithms. So you said that now you are taking account figures of merits like volatility or market capitalization, but in blockchains you have a lot more data. In principle, you see all the market participants and what they are doing. So are you taking any of this information?
No, we're not. At least not yet. Only the explore.
And don't you think that there's a lot of interesting information inside that you could use?
I mean, I agree that there's lots of information. Whether this is informative, that's a question. And I would have to do research, the science part of it. Dive in, figure out, maybe, possibly. Right? Possibly. Take here too, so maybe ladies first and then gentlemen.
I have a technical question. You don't have to tell if it's secret. So how do you look at only look at correlation matrix, or you have something else, like
we have something else.
You have something else. Okay. Is that, do you do Copla? You don't do that at all. You do Copla. Do you look at Copla?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay, but you don't use very classical correlation.
We use scaled correlation. You can Google it.
Okay.
Scaled correlation. It has a Wikipedia page.
Okay. That's
And
that's how you look at correlation.
That's our, because with this one we can look correlations at different time scales, and we can also see how they're shifted in time, if there's some time shifts, right? If one event is correlated with something else in the time at the particular time scale, we can extract.
Yeah, sorry, I have a second question, very short. So I realized that I just moved from London here. I look at people, in London, how some fintech companies, they recruit information. They are slightly changing. They're not recruiting so many people with mathematical background anymore, which I have, but they're actually looking at people who have more like cognitive science or psychology or neuroscience background. Do you think there's going to be a trend in this industry?
I don't know. We have in our startup lots of neuroscientists. I don't know if it's by accident or something, but we have quite a bit of neuroscience, and we have fintech startup. It's kind of weird. I think I've been when I came, I was the third neuroscientist in the startup. Okay, so I don't know. This wasn't planned. Nobody ever mentioned the plan, but somehow ends up there. I don't know. Hard to explain. Maybe there are lots of neuroscientists who don't know what to do. Bored with the brain. I don't know. Yeah, please.
Okay. You mentioned that currencies are really volatile. And how is this volatility included in your, I don't know the right word, your ratio shape, the one you mentioned, if you combine different funds and different currencies with each other, how is that integrated in your graph? How is their algorithm, or how? So
you mean the Sharpe ratio?
Yeah. Thanks.
So I mean, if you want to compute Sharpe ratio for this particular case, then you have to use just the classical computation, the way how they do it in financial textbooks. Mm-hmm. Then it's only fair way to compute, to make a comparison. If you would invent something new, nobody would know what the heck this means. Even we would know what that means. But when we talk about volatility within our AI, then it's a different story, right? Then we have our own magic in there. We have our own, basically, definition of volatility. We have our own definition of volatility, and what this made us build, together with return, was basically a three-dimensional space that we explore in terms of optimization, right? But whereas typically in the financial books, you will have only two-dimensional space. You will have return and volatility, and you would optimize these two. We are optimizing in three-dimensional space because volatility is such an important factor. Right? So we are looking basically wherever you have normally a line, we have a sphere that we are looking at, right? And then we have to find a tangential plane in this sphere, rather than a line on a curve, right? Touching the curve. So that's what we are doing, and these are the things that we have defined through our research and what came out as relevant.
Maybe two more questions.
Sorry, I didn't turn to this side for a while.
Have you ever considered a correlation related to the computational capacity available in the world? For instance, a new microchip that is faster, and the computational complexity required to produce new bitcoins, for instance, or new cryptocurrency? It's
not really my expertise, right? It's not really my expertise. I don't know. I know that there is this issue of course, especially Bitcoin requiring lots of computation for mining new Bitcoins, and that there is lots of energy being invested, and one critique is that this is actually not it's not green. But then on the other side of the argument is that this is how Bitcoin gets the value. And to have a value of something is that you have to put effort in it. The reason why diamonds are valuable is because they're hard to find, and there's lots of work to prepare them and to I don't know what the word is. To cut them, exactly. The reason why gold is valuable, same thing, hard to find, lots of work, lots of digging to get another piece of gold. Same here, the idea was original. So that you actually have to put energy into, invest energy, computational energy into it, in order to store value, to store that. You have to put value to store it. The value doesn't come from nowhere. But it's not really my expertise. You know, whether new computations will accelerate this, whether quantum computer will just do it, make it a breeze, I don't know.
Actually, the point is that a new processor could bring just sort of linear increase of the computational capacity.
I don't know.
But quantum computer is a qualitative increase. Therefore, it could be really disruptive on the blockchain market.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, in different ways. Yeah, who knows? Maybe it could destroy the whole. Could be really disruptive. I don't know. I really don't know. It's not my expertise.
No more questions? So, do you want to do a 5-minute break? Or who wants to continue? Just raise your hands.